Good morning, everybody. This is the Oskar Quentin Show, where I argue with people about politics on TikTok Live. Also related topics at my discretion. If you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, there'll be a pinned comment that shows when the calls start, and you can find oppositional calls timestamped throughout the episode in the description below. What's the news today? I don't know. Yesterday was supposed to be a big day. I feel like it kind of wasn't. Whenever Trump does a big display like the military parade that he had for his birthday, it's always this very sad looking attempt to do the whole like dictatorial looking thing where it's like, let's have tanks going down the street in DC, very Kim Jong-un-esque, that sort of thing. And I feel like yesterday was just the same thing. It was a big show. There were some weather problems. Sean Strickland got escorted out by the authorities. Was he arrested? I don't know. I'm seeing conflicting headlines about it. But I kind of don't care, right? Like, when he does this sort of thing, the story is that he's doing it. What actually happens on the day doesn't matter. He threw a big party on the White House lawn for a UFC fight. Very trashy. He's got the East Wing demolished, right in frame. This giant, circus that he's set up. I don't know. It's just unpresidential behavior. But I don't think it's actually all that interesting what the news about what actually happened yesterday is. I don't know. And I've said a couple times I'm kind of disappointed in the No Kings movement for not really planning protests for yesterday, but just having this concert thing live streamed. We were supposed to throw watch parties. I didn't even watch it. That's not protesting. I don't care. I don't care about I'm a musician, and I don't care about your concert. I went to a concert that my friend was performing in last night, and that was a better use of my time. I hate having to be dissident. I hate having to be, to sow division on the left is the phrase I've been using, but I got to just speak honestly about all that. So maybe that'll be the topic today, maybe not. Pretty vague prompt today. Trump is a domestic threat. We're supposed to deal with threats, foreign and domestic. I think he's a domestic threat. We'll see if somebody wants to get in the multi-guest request box and discuss that. But I'll take a moment to say hi to everybody. We've got the regulars here. We got the mods. Good to see Raven and Alyssianis and Ashley and Nate. That's new. Hello. Eric, Ben, Mile High Heathen. Lots of regular names. Who do we have over on YouTube? We've got the regular people. We've got No Naval 8. We've got Milk Girl, Milky Kate, one of our mods. Tavi. We've got some new mods on YouTube, so welcome to the new mods. Good morning, everybody. I just don't even want to talk about the news today. I'm just not excited about it. I'm not interested in it. I want the calls to begin. So get double tapping away on the screen so we can get the show pushed out to the For You page, which I can always tell when that's happened because I get a few followers. Like right now we're at 0 followers, which is pretty normal. It's just regular viewers watching the stream. But once we're out on the For You page, it shoots up to 20 or 30 in a pretty quick hurry. People want to glaze the UFC fight. I'm not even opposed to UFC as a sport. Like I've seen some people on the left kind of just like dogging on the whole sport as a whole, which combat sports maybe attract a certain type of person, sure, but I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with people deciding to do that particular sport. I just think it's trashy for the White House to throw sporting events. We're gonna talk to Luther. I'm gonna see what he wants to talk about. How old are you?
What's good, man? I'm older. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, because my box lighting up? I don't think so.
What do you mean, is your box lighting up?
You know how the box usually lights up when you talk?
Yeah, you get like the little ring glows. It is hacked, yeah.
I think your thing is glitched.
It's working on my end. How old are you?
Yeah, I'm older than you. I'm 36.
Okay. You're not older than me by much.
I have more life experience than you.
Okay.
Way more.
Okay.
Oh shit, I like your little setup, man. You into music?
Yep.
All right. What kind of music?
I'm a folk singer.
Oh, that's what's up. Can I follow your music or something?
It's all just one platform. Like my Instagram handle's Oskar Quentin Music because Oskar Quentin was taken, and I made it for music. But I upload the odd video of me playing. I'm working on getting my originals recorded and stuff. I would say if you're interested in
you got guitars in the background.
Yeah,
so you play everything.
I'm mostly a guitar player, but I consider myself a multi-instrumentalist. If you're interested in my music, just follow me everywhere because I'm not going to make new accounts for it. My accounts are kind of about me, and that's right now politics a lot more than it is music, but I'm not really interested in separating the music and the politics. I'm a folk singer. They're tied to each other, so you'll see the music if you follow me on the various things.
All right. Yeah, I like supporting, man. Even though we disagree on a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we can't disagree on music. You know, that's one thing.
I don't know. I mean, well, music's one of those things where if people disagree about music, like we don't have to get our feelings hurt about it. So if somebody
Yeah,
says
no,
my
no.
music, if somebody says my music's bad, that doesn't hurt my feeling because almost everybody thinks that almost all music is bad. That's kind of if 1/10 of 1% of people like your music, you're gonna be huge. That's a huge deal. So
Yeah,
you gotta find those people. So I don't really get my feelings hurt about people talking about me music. That doesn't really matter to me. I do get my feelings hurt about what people say about the president and democracy and people's civil rights and stuff like that. So I take those disagreements a little bit more seriously. You said we do disagree. What do we disagree about? You're a Trump supporter?
yes, I am. I'm a Trump. I voted 3 times. I'm Afro Latino, so I'm Puerto Rican. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
mixture.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I voted for Trump because I disagree with what Obama did in his 8 years. Um, he wasn't. I mean, he catered to the rainbow community more than the community he was supposed to cater to.
What
I mean,
community is the president supposed to cater to?
the ex-president.
Any
I mean,
president.
when he ran as a black president, right?
He was black when he was running for president. Correct.
I mean, that's what that was his label. For a real black American, he wasn't black. He's not black.
Ah,
I
dude.
mean,
You know what?
he's African. His
I don't think
mother's
it's going to be a
Caucasian.
popular position.
Yeah,
Look.
yeah.
We talk about
Is his
Obama a
mother
lot on
black?
this show. We talk a lot about Obama on the show, but I don't think anybody's ever told me that he's not black.
Is his mother black?
I don't know. He's mixed, right? So is one of his
Now
parents
you don't
white?
know.
I don't know. You
Yeah.
know what I think makes him black.
His-
Can I tell you why I think he's black?
Why?
Because if he was president, or if he wasn't president, if he wasn't famous, if he wasn't a politician, if nobody knew who he was, and a cop pulled him over, he'd still have to be afraid of getting shot more than a white person. I think that's what makes him black.
I doubt that. Because once he opens his mouth, he doesn't sound black. Yeah, his
I
mother's
don't, I
white.
don't, I don't think that always does the trick.
His mother's white, and his father is African, right?
I think one African parent makes you black enough to be black. Personally.
I, I,
Because I think it makes you black enough to be subject to racism in the way that I just gave a specific example, but I think a
Mhm.
racist person would see Obama and think, there's one of those black people, and I think that's enough for us to call him black. I think it's absurd that you don't want to call him black. I think
I,
you're trying to gatekeep the minority group that you're a part of, which is shitty.
nah, I don't see him as black at all, and the black community does not recognize him as black. I'm in the black community all the time. They're upset he didn't give reparations. He had 8 years to do that. He did more for the pride community than he did for any community in America. You can't disagree with that.
I think he did more for people who need health care than for the LGBTQ community specifically.
The healthcare was horrible. The prices kept going up and up
Yeah, it wasn't
and up
perfect.
and up and up, and they would have kept going up. So that was bad. So healthcare, you could negate that. Uh, to be honest with you, he
Just
should have
negate
gave
that.
reparations. If you really, if you wanted to seal that black card, because he can't say the N word. You know how they call
Do you think
the
that
N-word card?
do you think that what form should reparations take? What do you mean there? What should he have done?
He should have gave some type of form of reparations, man. He felt like they don't deserve it. He felt
Right,
like
right. What would that would have
a
looked like? So
black
like here,
American.
let's go back in time to the day that Obama took office, which was sometime in January of 2009. You're sitting in the room with him, and he says, "What should I do for reparations for Black Americans?" What would you tell him to do?
Look at the lineage. They kept records. You know that, right? They
Sure.
had black American slaves. Uh,
Okay, so
in
let's
in
assume he
oh,
has a good list of people who deserve reparations. I'm specifically asking, what are those reparations? What should he have done?
he should have gave some type of reparations, some type of
Money?
compensation.
Money?
Some type. Well, not wait. It could be in any form. Money,
Okay. Well,
stocks.
so here's the problem. I have a problem
Hold
with
on.
that.
Uh,
I'll let you finish. I don't need to step on your toes.
It doesn't have to be money, stocks, land, something, something little for each person because they kept black American slaves as if they were property. They're
Okay,
left
wait,
on
wait, wait.
railroads.
You're moving past. You're moving back onto your reasons why you want reparations, but you got into my question, which was how would we do reparations? So you want the president to just issue what, like a disbursement, like a stimulus check for people who deserve reparations?
Yeah, one-time stimulus check just to get it out the way so we won't ever hear it again.
Okay.
Just I'm tired of hearing the same victim mentality. Just get it over with. That's what he should have did. He had 8 years to do that. Then Biden came around with another uh, non-black American posing as a black American.
I really just take issue with you saying that these people aren't black.
She's Jamaican. Jamaican is not even American. First off, they're not American, right? Or are you gonna sit here and say they're American?
I'm not going to claim that Jamaicans are Americans. No.
All right, they're not American, so they're not black Americans. They're African. They're Western African and Taino Indian. All right.
Okay.
So, and then on top of that, her mother is Indian. So that is not black American at all. If the Democrats was to come in here with a real black American,
just who's saying that?
It's the truth.
I mean, you're
It's
just
common
declaring
sense.
like
It's
what
common sense.
percentage? Let's pretend it's the 1800s. What percentage black do you have to be black, according to you?
Yo, this just is a black American. A black American.
Katie
Why
on YouTube
can't-
Super Chat sent me a $5 YouTube Super Chat to say, if Obama wasn't black, then why did Trump make racist posts about him and think he wasn't a citizen? Why did whites make dummies of him lynched? Yeah. Why all the racism against him if he isn't black? I think is the succinct way to put that.
White people are racist against Latinos too. They're racist against Islam.
Right.
They're racist against everything.
Right. So what is Obama that causes white people to be racist against him?
He's African.
Okay.
African,
And we have different labels. There's older labels that we don't use anymore. We call them African Americans. We call them Black Americans. We call them people of color more generally, which is other groups. So African, I think that's kind of categorized similarly with like Black Americans, right?
No, there's two different things, bro.
Okay.
An African American is not the same as a Black American, brother.
Okay.
That's like me. So what's your
Do you
nationality?
think do you think that the racists who want to do harm to people who have darker colored skin care about these nuances, or do you think that they just see the color of somebody's skin and think that's a black guy?
It's not only the color of the skin; it's where they're from.
But do you think that anybody actually cares? Do you think that the people who are harmful to people who have dark skin are going to go, oh, wait a minute, everybody put your ropes away. It's fine. It's fine. He's not actually black. He's this obscure mix of things that this random guy on TikTok Live says isn't black. Do you think that would be... That's fucking ridiculous,
That's
dude.
why he didn't give reparations, because he's not Black American. He's African. He's African American.
You think that Congress would have approved stimulus just for Black Americans?
Yeah.
You
they have
think
executive orders, right? He could have done an executive order, right?
Because the president's not allowed to deal in money in that way. That's the same reason that the Supreme Court shot down Biden's attempts to forgive student loans, because technically in the division of powers, one of the things that keeps any part of the government from becoming too powerful, one of the things that we don't let the president do is spend money. He needs to get Congress to approve expenditures of money. There's actually some things that Trump has done that have violated that as well.
He gave reparations.
Who?
Trump gave reparations, right?
He gave some stimulus checks to everybody. That's not reparations, though. That's not what reparations are.
It's the same thing. That's why you said, oh, stimulus checks? You mean in the form of stimulus checks? It's the same thing, bro. Come on.
I think that reparations are specific to a group and stimulus checks are for everybody. The discrimination is what makes it different.
So what's your ethnicity?
What does it matter?
All right, then. See.
I mean, I'm a white person. I could tell you the countries my family is from, but like, what difference?
Are all white people the same? Are all white people the same?
No two people are the same.
So, would you be mad if I called you Irish?
I'm like
Irish white man?
I'm like a little bit Irish on my mom's side. It'd be a little bit accurate. I'm more Latvian than I am Irish, but it doesn't really make a difference.
All right, all
In
right.
the chat, no, twins are not the same. They have the same genetics, but they are still different people. They have different lives, different experience. The much of the nature is the same, but not all of the nurture. They're more similar than other people, but everybody's unique. Yeah, what difference does it make if I'm Latvian or Irish or some combination
All
of
white
those
people
things?
aren't the same, man. All white people aren't the same. That's like, so you basically saying African Americans are the same as Black Americans.
I'm saying that the labels overlap enough for it to not be meaningful for you to assert that Obama, the first African American president, isn't black. That's fucking
He,
crazy to say.
he's not, man. He's not. It's not. That's not my fault. You feel me?
It's
I
your
can't
fault
do
that
nothing
you
about
that
that.
you said
We
that.
can't
I'm
change
not
it.
sure if it's your fault that you think that. I'd like to understand why you think that.
He's because he's not black. He's whitewashed, man. He's just like his mother. He's white. You know.
Let's say that you married a white woman and you had a child, and your child is mixed race, and somebody lynched your child because of their skin color. Do you think it would be appropriate for people to go around and say that your child wasn't black and it was therefore not a hate crime?
I mean, that would have happened. I'm not gonna go through
Not
hypothetical
asking about. I'm not
or
asking you
nothing
to
like
tell me
that.
if you think it would happen. I'm asking you how you would
You
feel if
feel
it
me?
did happen.
I don't know. How would you feel if
No,
what's
don't
his
move on
name?
from it. Don't
How
move
would
on
you
from
feel
it.
if Carmelo?
You
How
can
would you feel if Carmelo stabbed your
let's
son?
we can talk
Let's
about
go that
Carmelo.
way.
We can talk about Carmelo Anthony after
How
we
would
get.
you feel if he stabbed your son and killed him?
That'd be
Like,
real
come on.
bad. I don't think you know my opinions on Carmelo Anthony, but we can talk about that after I get through this hypothetical with you. You can imagine a situation where your child is of a similar racially ambiguous position as Obama, right? If you had a child with a person who was white, your child would then be a mixed race person. Did we get this far? Do you agree with me this far into
Yeah,
the example?
yeah, my child would probably look like you, but with an afro.
Okay, what if somebody says, look at that kid, he has an afro, let's hang him, and then they lynched him because he was in the wrong neck of the woods in the South? I think that'd be really horrible if that happened. How would you feel about it?
That would be my fault because I didn't do my job. He should know better not to be around and put himself in that type of predicament.
Well,
You know?
let's say that you were in the hospital getting a new kidney, so you were under anesthetic, and the babysitter that you left him with made a big mistake, and he got out and went, got out of the house and went down the street and found himself down the wrong road and got himself lynched, and you weren't there to save him. In my example, how would you feel about it?
You know, he won't be the only one getting lynched. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay, do you think it'd be a hate crime him getting lynched because people saw his afro and wanted to lynch him because he had an afro?
Yeah, that is a hate crime. That's a hate crime.
Wait, no, but he's not black, according to you.
Oh, he's not. Yeah, you're right. He's not black.
No hate crime, right? It's white
So it's
people on white
like
people. That can't be a hate crime now, can it?
It's not. I mean, he's got a little tone to him. I mean, they could be racist against Latinos. My
Okay,
son would look like a Latino more.
No, but what if people came out and said, no, we can't get these people charged with a hate crime because according to you, caller, your own son in this example isn't black because you don't think Obama's black.
A hate crime could be anything. There's people that lynch the rainbow community. So what you're saying is, it don't matter, man.
Well, no, but they didn't lynch your son because he was part of the rainbow community. They lynched him because they thought he was black. In my example, in Minecraft.
Yeah, but you saying my blood would be watered down because of the white mother. So
Okay. Does that make the people that lynched your mixed race child not racist because his bloodline has been watered down?
I got lynched because I'm darker, but my son would be lighter. There's no way. There's no way.
I'm not asking if there's a way. I'm asking how you feel about this hypothetical.
I'm not here for what ifs or hypotheticals, man.
Called the wrong show.
I'm here for you feel me?
No. You say you're not here for what ifs and you're not here for hypotheticals. And I just have something that I never get a very good answer from the people who say that sort of thing. You do understand that to have a conversation about politics at all, you have to engage in hypotheticals, because when we select candidates or we make opinions about the laws that they might pass or might vote on or might not vote on, we're saying hypothetically, if they get elected, hypothetically if they pass the law, hypothetically if this thing happens, I think the outcome would be this, you think the outcome would be that, maybe we disagree about what's good and bad, but we are engaging in a hypothetical by even recognizing the possibility that something may or may not happen in the future. Does that make sense to you?
But with my tone and a white woman, my child will come out looking like you. I'm telling you right now, bro. So that has nothing to do with race, yo. You're trying to make it about race. You're trying to race bait, and
Well,
it's
you
not
said that he.
working,
Well,
bro.
you said that he might have an afro. Maybe they'd lynch him for the afro. Maybe that'd be enough.
You think if you had an afro, you get lynched?
In certain times and places, sure,
Ha-
but I think
Having an
you're
afro,
I think you're working really hard to dodge my specific lines of
no,
questioning. I
there's
recognize you're not
tons
going to
of
accept the You said that you don't work in hypotheticals, so I abandoned the hypothetical and I asked you generally about how hypotheticals work, and when I did that, you went back to the hypothetical. So now we're playing whack-a-mole. We've got two things. We've got the hypothetical and the fact that you don't engage with hypotheticals. I think we should talk about the fact that you don't engage with hypotheticals before we try to engage with the hypothetical. So let's put aside the hypothetical where your mixed race child gets lynched and you don't think it's racism because you don't think your kid is black because it fits the same rule as you not thinking Obama's black. We'll get back to that in a minute.
But you went from skin color to hair type.
We'll
Like,
get back to that in a moment, but we have now learned
that's two different things, man.
we have now learned that you don't engage with hypotheticals. So I'm not interested in discussing the hypothetical that I brought up until we discuss a little bit about the fact that you refuse to engage in hypotheticals.
So
I
let's
think
talk about Trump is a domestic threat. You're
No,
right there.
we're going to talk about the fact that you don't engage in hypotheticals. So what I just said a moment ago about the fact that when you choose a politician to vote for, or you say that you want a politician to vote for or against a law, you're engaging in a hypothetical by saying, hypothetically, if this law gets passed, hypothetically, if this person becomes my senator, my representative, my president, my mayor, my
You
sheriff,
moved the
whatever it is.
goalpost from skin tone to afro to hair type, bro.
You moved the goalpost by saying that
you
his
moved
skin
it.
wouldn't be black. I need you to stop trying to engage in the hypothetical that you say that you don't do and answer my questions about
Well, why would
engaging in
you even bring that
hypotheticals
up?
generally. We can answer those questions after you answer my questions about engaging in the hypothetical generally. Did you listen to my questions about engaging with the hypothetical generally? Do you want me to repeat them?
What you're saying is a bunch of nothing. You're like a dog chasing a tail, bro.
I think you would disagree with that if you were listening. Can you just say some of the words I said to demonstrate that it was a whole bunch of nothing that I said?
Yeah,
What's my concern about hypotheticals?
I like that flag in the background too, man.
Yeah, you're just picking stuff, you know? You're like seeing the shiny
Yeah.
thing and trying to get out of the corner that you're in, but you're going to
It's a
stay in the
bunch of-
corner and we're going to talk about the hypotheticals. Do you recognize that to engage with politics at all, you have to engage in hypotheticals? Yes or no?
Are white people being deported by ICE?
I'm
You're
sorry. The
white.
question again is,
That has
do
nothing to
you
do with
recognize that engaging with politics requires you to engage in hypotheticals? And I can explain that more thoroughly again if you want me to, because you weren't listening.
That flag has nothing. That flag.
We're
behind
not
you
talking
has
about the
nothing
flag.
To do with your
We're
kind.
talking
It has
about the
nothing to do
fact
with
that
your
you're
kind.
unable to engage with hypotheticals, which I think is very concerning for a person who cares about politics, because you have to engage in hypotheticals to make political decisions. Do you recognize that? Yes or no?
You're white with white privilege. That flag has nothing to do with you. It doesn't affect
We can
you at
discuss all of that. I would actually really like to discuss those things with
Are
you,
you
but
doing that for likes?
I need you to answer my
gifts?
question about hypotheticals. I'm going to keep bringing you back to it. You're bringing up a bunch of really interesting stuff that we talk about on the show quite a lot. I'd love to get to that stuff. Do you recognize that you have to engage with hypotheticals in order to be able to engage with politics at all? Yes or no?
I like realism, man. I don't like what ifs at all. I
Is
don't
that
deal with what ifs.
Okay, so how do you choose a politician when you vote?
You go to a location and you put in you
Right.
cast your vote. Man.
But when you pick them, how do you decide which one you want to pick? Because you said you don't engage in what ifs, and I feel like if you're voting for a politician, you're answering the question: what will happen if this guy gets chosen? What will happen if that guy gets chosen? I prefer this guy over that guy or gal or whatever it is. You make that hypothetical decision. You say, what if we elect them? That'd be better than if we elect the other option. So that's a what if. So I'm trying to understand how you vote if you don't do what ifs and you don't do hypotheticals.
Yeah, I voted for Trump for the deportations because I knew
because you asked, because if somebody asked you the question, I am going to cut you off because I want to keep you in this corner. You get asked the question, what if we elect Donald Trump? And you're going to say, well, he'll do something good about deportation, right? Is that the situation you were in a couple years ago when you were choosing to vote for him?
I was hoping he would deport as much as Obama did.
Okay, that sounds like engaging in a what if and a hypothetical. What if I elect Donald Trump? He'll deport these people, right?
I didn't. I was hoping he voted. I was hoping he deported as much illegals as Obama did, and he didn't. So I'm kind of pissed off at Trump about that.
No.
Because Obama has him beat, and you know that. Can you Can you agree with that? Obama has him beat with deportations.
Total number, sure.
All right. Thank you for being honest.
I can
So
compare the size of two
I'm kind of
numbers. Yeah.
pissed off. I am pissed
I'm
off.
not going to
I
let you
kind of
out of the
regret my vote.
hypothetical thing. You need to address it.
No,
You need
no,
to
no, no,
explain
no,
to
no,
me
no.
how you don't engage with hypotheticals
Obama
or
had
what
people.
ifs.
Did Obama have people in cages?
We're not going to
Did he
move
have
on.
children?
We can talk about all of
Obama
these
had
things.
people
You
in
can pick any one of
cages.
these things for us to discuss next, but I'm not done discussing the fact that you don't engage with hypotheticals or what ifs, but you're calling into a show to talk about what
That's
will
not a
happen if.
hypothetical. That's not. He did. He did it. Obama
Right,
put
and
people in
because that's
cages.
not a hypothetical, we're not talking about it, because right now we're talking about hypotheticals
And
and
you
how you
did
don't engage with
agree.
them. We haven't finished our conversation about what ifs and hypotheticals. I don't understand how you can say something like, what if Donald Trump will become president? That would be good. I'd like that. I should vote for him. But then tell me that you don't engage with what ifs when I ask you some difficult questions.
So what if Obama didn't deport more people?
I'm not going to
What
talk
would
about
happen?
these specific examples until you
Now
answer
you don't want to talk
generally.
about that.
I will. I'd love to. I would love to talk about that, but I can't talk about it with
Oh
somebody who
man,
doesn't engage in
there'll be more
hypotheticals.
crimes. There'll be more crimes if Obama didn't do it. Thank God Obama deported all
Wait,
those people.
that's a what if. If Obama didn't do it, there'd be more crimes? That's a what if. You do engage with what
Yeah.
ifs.
Oh, so did you like what Obama did, deporting all those people?
So how do you choose when you engage with a what if or a hypothetical? It seems a little inconsistent.
And you're cherry picking, bro.
I don't. You
Yeah,
are.
you did.
I'm asking how you do it.
You cherry picking, bro. Obama, you just said Obama deported more illegals than Trump.
I'm not upset
But
about
you're
the
going
total number of
against- but you're
deportations.
going
That's not what I'm
against
worried
your
about.
own kind, bro. You're going against your.
We can talk about
own
that.
kind.
I'm just going to ask one more time before we abandon it and see how the conversation goes without hypotheticals, apparently. Just to be clear, yes or no, hypotheticals and what ifs are important in discussing and making decisions about politics. Yes or no?
Wait, what was that again? Hold on, I was doing something.
Hypotheticals and what ifs are important in discussing politics and making political decisions like voting. Yes or no?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's half and half, 50-50.
Are they important or are
Because
they
you're-
not? Yes or no? Do you have to engage with them? Yes or no? Not every
Engage
one of
with
them
who?
is going to, not all of them are, what ifs and hypotheticals, not all of them are going to be good or relevant or important, but do you have to engage with hypotheticals or what ifs in order to discuss and make decisions about
Oh.
politics?
Yes, always. Oh, I mean, some things can happen, some things can't happen, might not happen. You know, there's always what if, but I don't like what ifs. You know, I like.
Why don't you like
100%,
what
you know?
ifs? That's what I'm very interested in understanding about you. Because we have to answer what if questions. Like, what if we don't, what if the House in Congress isn't won by Democrats in the midterms? What if Donald Trump gets to finish his term? What if, there's all these ifs
Yeah.
about the future, and we have to ask those questions to talk about what we think is going to happen based on things
You're
that we
right.
vote for. So,
I agree.
okay.
So
I
what
really
if-
wish we didn't spend like 10 minutes on that. But
Yeah,
okay,
no,
so
no.
you recognize
what
that you
if-
have.
So here's
Okay.
a good one. So what?
We can move
if-
on.
So what if we didn't go into Iran and they developed a nuclear weapon? What
that would
if?
Be, that would be
How
bad.
about that?
That'd be bad.
That'd be horrible, right?
I don't know if it would be horrible. I think it would be bad because I don't think that they'd be likely to use it. Because there's a lot of countries that we don't like that do have nukes, and none of them use it because of mutually assured destruction. And a country like Iran, if they were to use a nuke for anything, would immediately be obliterated by NATO. And when I say obliterated, I'm talking about the sort of military action that we haven't seen in the 21st century. I think
So where was? Mhm.
Okay.
All right, go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was kind of done with my answer. They would be bad. It would be a bummer if Iran got nukes. I don't think they'd use them, though. North Korea has nukes. That's a bummer, but it's not horrible because they don't send them over here. Because, again, we'd wipe
Yeah.
them off the face of the earth if they did.
Yeah. So and I don't think they have it in the mountains. So the uranium, and I don't think their plans were to make them into a ballistic or any type of weapon like that. I think their plans were just to leave it in the mountain, create one big thing, and just do it right there.
Well, what do you
That-
mean?
and-
Blow up the mountains that they were developing the nukes in? That doesn't make
Do
any
you know-
sense.
do you-
I think you're
do you
wrong.
know-
I think they did want to put their nuclear weapons on ballistic missiles, which explains their ballistic missile program that continued during the Iran deal that Obama brokered because we weren't able to get them to stop making ballistic missiles in that particular deal.
I disagree with that. I think they were trying to create one big thing, one big boom, and you know how strong that thing is, man. That's it's like 100 or 1,000 times stronger than a atom.
Okay,
Atom
what
bomb.
are we talking about?
They were gonna take themselves with they're gonna boom themselves, man. All of us, the whole world, bro. They're just gonna do it.
Through incompetence? Are you saying that they can't be trusted to keep a nuclear weapon from going off? Is that your suggestion?
They would have let it off right there. I feel like they would have built one big, huge, gigantic boom and just did it right there, man.
Okay, I forgive me for doing this, but I do need to do it sometimes on my show. I just needed to do like a basic ignorance check about the state of the world. What are the three branches of the government?
Jurisdiction. I don't know. I don't know none of that shit. I'm from
Okay.
the hood, man.
Okay.
I don't even watch TV, bro. I don't even watch TV, man.
So here's my problem. Here's my problem. You're talking a lot about
this legislative.
That's one of them.
Judiciary or some shit. I don't know. And I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So here's my problem. You got big feelings about Obama. You got big feelings about Trump. Somehow Biden hasn't come up in all this, but it doesn't sound to me like you know what their jobs are.
What is another executive? What?
It's right? Executive, judicial, and legislative.
Judicial?
Those are the three.
So I was close.
No. You weren't close.
What you mean?
Me too.
What you talking about?
I'm gonna spark one up the moment the show ends. Actually, that's not true. I have an appointment today, but after that, I am gonna spark one up. We don't talk about that on TikTok though because it's not allowed. We love the TikTok shop. Don't ban us. But for you to care about politics, we had this whole thing earlier in this call about how it's really important to be able to engage in what ifs and hypotheticals in order to be able to have reasonable opinions about this stuff. And if you don't know the structure of the government, then you don't know what the rules of the game are. You don't know what the president's job is. But do you know which of them does the president work at?
What you mean? Which one the president works at?
You said that you do understand them. You just said all three. You're trying to save face on that. So show me that you understand them and tell me which of them does the president work at?
None.
There's a correct answer. That is one of the three of them that he works at. Who's a politician who you really don't like?
Who's a politician I really don't like?
Just pick one, yeah.
Karen Bass.
Okay. Which branch does she work for?
I don't know. She's a mayor, man.
Okay. Right. So again, I'm giving you this. I'm giving you this like civics test because again, don't you think it's important to know what the president's job is to criticize how good a job they're doing?
The president's job is to keep us safe. That's his main job. That's his number
isn't.
one job.
It's not.
It's to keep us safe. Oh, so it's not to keep us safe?
It's not. There's a job that he has that's more important than that.
Well, that's the only job to keep us safe. That's all I care about. Is being safe.
When the president takes his oath, what does he say in his oath? You don't have to get it word for word, but generally, what's the gist of the oath?
I don't care, bro. As long as
wait! You said you don't care. You don't care what the president's oath is?
Bro, the number one thing is to keep Americans safe.
Well,
bro.
hold on. So we have this whole ceremony where thousands of people show up, and we point a bunch of cameras at the president, and he's supposed to put his hand on a Bible, but that part's not legally important, which is good because I'm an atheist. I don't care about the Bible. But he raises his hand, his right hand, and he swears to do something, and you don't even know what that thing is, and you're here telling me that you think that Obama was a bad president.
Obama was a bad president. You
don't know what the president's... I mean, I can. And the reason I'm able and confident to make those sort of disagreements with people like yourself is because I do understand what the president's job is. But it doesn't seem like you understand what the president's job is.
Yeah, you know why? Because I'm not that nosy, man. I'm not white, you know? I'm not nosy, bro. I don't want to be in everyone's business.
But you're calling in and talking to me about politics in front of 500 people, and you don't understand even the most basic rules of how politics works in this country.
Damn, it went up like that since I got on here.
Well, there's also people. Let's see, what's the total right now? It's about 435, so it's a little high between TikTok and YouTube.
You gotta pay me, man. I'm bringing up the views. It's crazy.
No, man, I don't think you're special. I think me being able to talk to somebody like you is what makes me special, and that's why people send me money. Thanks, Francisco, for the $5 on Venmo. He says, got cut off yesterday. Keep up the good work. Appreciate you, Francisco. Linktree in the bio if you want to support me having conversations with more callers who don't understand how the government works.
Thank you, Ship for the $10 on Venmo.
If you think that the president is doing a bad job, don't you think it's important to be able to convey to somebody what the president's job is in order to articulate exactly how they're doing a bad job?
I mean, the president has a lot of jobs. I mean, He's done more right now than Obama did in the last 4 years that he was the president. Man,
But you
he
don't
did
know
a
what the
lot more.
president's job. How can you assess if the president's doing a good job when you don't know what the president's job is?
The president's job is to keep Americans safe.
That's a consideration, but it's
to-
not. But it's not the primary thing that he takes his oath to do.
So what is it? You feel me? Since you're so nosy and you want to know everybody's business, what is it? Enlighten me.
He swears his oath to the Constitution to defend, protect. To protect the Constitution of the United States, because the Constitution is the foundation of both our legal system and the government as a whole. All the rules about how the government works, like what exactly your job is if you become a senator or a representative at the state or federal level, or if you're the president or anything like that, like all of that's described in the Constitution. And then we have hundreds of years of case law where the Supreme Court, that's the judicial branch, they get to make these decisions like, ooh, we have a new situation. People think that this thing in the Constitution applies this way. Some other people think it applies that way. And it's specifically the Supreme Court's job to make a decision on that. So when you hear like a Supreme Court case get referenced and people talk about something like Roe v. Wade, it's because there's a Supreme Court decision where something was decided and we're referencing that opinion. So there's this big whole complicated system that exists. And what the president is swearing to do when he takes office is to defend that system, because it is that system that keeps you safe. Because one of the ways in which a person can be made unsafe is if the leader of the country that they live in has all the power that the entire government has. If they just get to order everybody in the government around, that's not a democracy. We have a different word for that. That's a dictatorship. If the leader gets to dictate what everybody else does, that's just not how America works, and that's not what it says in the Constitution. So the Constitution exists to protect you from a president who's going to do whatever he wants and try to get the rest of the government to do whatever he says. The Constitution says that's real bad. The people who founded the country didn't like the way that worked in Europe, so they came here. During World War II, we didn't like the way that Hitler was doing that, so we fought World War II about it. During the second half of the 20th century, we didn't like the way that was happening in some of the other places in the world. So we have all these nasty leaders from the past where we go, what do they all have in common? And a bunch of them have to do with these rules that they break if they were to be trying to follow an American Constitution. The Constitution would stop somebody from becoming a dictator if they followed it, if they obeyed it. That's how it's designed. It's there to keep you safe. Are you tracking? Is this all making sense to you?
Yeah, it all makes sense.
Okay, so the president swears his oath to make sure that system doesn't get disruptive. That system gives him control of the executive branch, one of the three branches. And one of the things that the president does that's really important is, as seat of the executive branch, he can make decisions quickly. He gets to order the military around. He gets to make executive orders. And that's important to have in a government, because when emergencies happen, sometimes like maybe there's a giant weather disaster or a war or something crazy like that, like something really time sensitive, the big complicated legal system I was talking about, not great at fast decisions. It takes forever for laws to get passed. Takes a while for the Supreme Court to decide on things. So we have a person whose job it is to, within kind of the playpen that the Constitution gives them, they have some executive authority to make decisions on the fly, but we have to elect a person who's going to respect the system. So when we do elect a person, we make them swear an oath to that system. We say, you're going to defend, protect, and uphold the Constitution. Something like that. I forget the exact wording. Trump made that oath. So when I talk about somebody being a good president or a bad president in the current political context, I really reduce a lot of my arguments down to the fact that the president needs to follow the rules, and Trump doesn't, is kind of my big argument. We haven't really talked much about Trump yet at all. In fact, you wanted to talk about the prompt. That's one of the things you were pivoting over. The reason I think that Trump is a domestic threat is because, if we look at the two words, domestic, he's not a foreign entity. He's an American. I think you would agree he's domestic, not foreign, right?
Yeah, he's Irish and German, right?
Well, right, but he's not, like Russia is a foreign threat. China is a foreign threat. Iran is a foreign threat, but he's a domestic threat. But I do think he's a threat because of everything I just explained. He's not following the oath he took. He's not following the rules of the country.
So he's the same as Obama. You're right. They were both threats. Biden was a threat.
Well, you can say that they're all threats, and I don't think that that's fair to say.
They're all threats. Biden, it was a threat, a huge threat. Letting all the illegal immigrants in.
I don't think he did that on purpose, anyway.
He on purpose.
I think it matters. Yeah, there was a big thing that happened during Biden's term that caused an unusual amount of illegal immigration. I don't think it's necessarily the U.S. president's fault that there's going to... So there's going to be a surge in illegal immigration after a pandemic that stops global travel for 2 years and causes economic problems in other countries. Do you recognize? That's a very specific question I just asked. Do you recognize that if there's a global pandemic and global travel gets shut down for a year or two, and the economic circumstances of a lot of countries are bad because the pandemic shut down the economy in pretty much everywhere, do you recognize that that's going to cause a spike in illegal immigration once the travel bans are lifted?
Listen, when the pandemic happened, the border should have been shut down, right?
It was.
The border should be closed.
Mm-hmm.
It was? You said it was, right?
Well, we don't have a wall across the whole thing, and I don't even know if that would be effective. But specifically, my question is, we did see that migration dropped drastically during the meat of the pandemic, during lockdown. In 2020, second half of 2020, most of 2021, the illegal immigration and immigration in total, not just in America, but in the whole world, nobody was moving around nearly as much. The numbers are never going to go to zero. There's 8 billion people on planet. If one of them hops a border, that makes the numbers not zero.
There's no way to keep track of the numbers unless they get caught.
We can
There's no way.
We can estimate though, and when the estimations are also going down, that's an indication that the real number is also going down, and that's what everybody who reports on it saw. That for a couple years the numbers were really low, and then after that they spiked up a lot, and not just enough to account for the fact that some people waited. Like, it's not like, you know, the 2020 and 2021 immigrants all just came over in 2022 and the numbers were like doubled for a couple years. It's more than that, because one of the things that really influences how much illegal immigration there is how shitty life is elsewhere, because most people immigrate illegally because their lives are shitty where they're coming from. They want that American dream, they want that opportunity. And I personally just kind of forgive some of these people for committing the misdemeanor of illegal entry. And we could talk about that ethical conundrum in a moment, but I just want to really like hammer this down and make sure you understand my position on it. Do you see what I'm saying about how if there's a big pandemic, it creates this like bottleneck where nobody moves for a while. So all the people who wanted to immigrate in that time might have to do it a year or two later. And in addition to those people who've piled up waiting, we also have economic circumstances being bad in countries that didn't handle the pandemic well, which poorer countries weren't able to handle it nearly as well as wealthy countries. So a lot of the poorer countries where people are coming from, they end up wanting to immigrate more. And whoever's the U.S. president, doesn't matter whether they're a Republican who's going to be really hard on it or a Democrat who's not going to be as hard on it. They're just going to be dealing with a bigger mountain of illegal immigration to face, so the numbers are going to be bigger. Do you recognize that?
Holy shit, Oscar. Oh my God, Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. Bro, my stocks and my crypto is going crazy. I'm winning, Oscar. I am winning. Yeah, my portfolios are looking super green.
You know,
right
the chat's
now.
been saying the whole time that you're not listening, but I kind of just like getting these explanations out.
Super green, Oscar. Super green, Oscar.
We can talk about that in a minute. Were you listening?
Super green right now. This is what I voted for, you know? Financial freedom.
Were you listening?
Oscar. We're living. This is the most pivotal. This is the most amazing time right now. We have the best president in the world.
I feel like what I said made sense, and you're afraid of how much sense it made, because I actually think you were listening, and I think that you're coming onto this.
There was a deal made.
No, you want me to get distracted and upset about this, but I'm just gonna ask you again. Were you listening to what I was saying?
There's a deal made.
Were you listening to what I was saying?
They're signing on Friday.
Were you listening to what I was saying?
So are you happy?
Were you listening to what I was saying?
Are you happy that the conflict is over?
Were you listening to what I was saying?
So you're not happy that the conflict's over?
Lisa says, thank you for being so literal on Cash App for $5. Were you listening to what I was saying?
So you want high gas prices? That's what you want?
Were you listening to what I was saying?
Is that what you want? You want war and destruction over there?
Were you listening to what I was saying?
Yeah, I was.
What did I say?
It was just a bunch of words that was just. It didn't mean a lot. It wasn't.
Why do I think that there was more? Why do I think that there was more illegal immigration during Biden's term? I was giving you my answer to that.
I'm in Connecticut. It's a blue state. They're taking away our gun rights.
Okay, so I told you why I think there was more illegal immigration.
It's in amendments to carry. It's in amendments to carry, right?
I really do want my audience to understand your perspective. It's important for me that my audience understands people like you. And one of the things that's really important to accomplishing that is just staying on.
Democrats are taking our rights away.
One of the things that's really One of the things that's really important to my audience understanding how your perspective on all this works is us just staying on one thing and really like seeing how you respond to the things that I have to say about it. So you're bringing up a bunch
you're
of
having a meltdown.
you're bringing up a bunch of interesting stuff. Very interesting topics you're bringing up. I'd love to discuss any and all of those, but we do just have to stay on the one topic, which at this moment was why there was more illegal immigration during Biden's term.
All right, this is the main topic right here. Hold on, because this is a big thing. Do you think Donald Trump is racist?
I want you to answer my question about why there was more illegal immigration during Biden's term, and I want you to demonstrate that you were listening to me when I was talking about it.
Yeah, because he was asleep. You didn't see him. He spent more time on vacation.
Not asking you what you think. I'm asking you to demonstrate that you listened to what I said. I'm asking you to demonstrate that you listened to. We can talk about that. I don't think him being sleepy changes the number of people who immigrate, but that's not a response to what I just asked, which is why do I think there was more illegal immigration? I explained it very clearly. Do you want me to explain it again?
Biden was a vegetable.
I'm not asking you for your opinion.
Downstairs, falling off a bike.
I'm not asking you your opinion. I'm asking you to
hold a conversation.
You can keep saying that. Do you think you look good in this conversation by avoiding my line of questioning?
You would have been a better president than Biden. Do you agree that you would have been a better president than Biden?
I do.
Oh, way better. Yo, bro, light years. You're not even on the same
Did you listen
scale.
to my explanation of why I think there was more illegal immigration during Biden's term? Yes or no?
Because Kamala didn't do her job, man. She was the border czar. She didn't even go down there. You know?
I'm not asking you for your thoughts. I'm asking if you listened to my thoughts.
It's not my thoughts. It's the truth.
But the question I'm asking is, did you listen to my explanation of why I believe there was more illegal immigration during Biden's term? I'd be happy to explain it again if you weren't listening.
I mean, it always happens, man. There's always going to be illegal immigration, no matter what. Whether they enforce it.
Chat thinks it's ironic that you think that Biden couldn't hold a conversation while you are demonstrating very clearly that you yourself can't hold a conversation.
Because, bro, I don't do this every day. You do it every day. You do it every day to try to get a galaxy. I don't come on here every day.
Somebody send me a galaxy. It'll make the guest very upset.
Yeah, please. No. Give him one.
Okay.
Give him two, please.
But again, why is it that I think there was more illegal immigrants?
Send him his daily heart me's.
Let me ask you a more basic question. Can I just ask you a very
gallery?
Excuse me, sir. Can I just ask you a very basic question about conversation?
I'm trying to show you some support, man.
I'm not interested in your support. I'm interested in you answering some of my questions. I'm going to ask you a different question. Do you think in a conversation it is important for both people to understand what the other people think?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Farrah, for the galaxy. I appreciate it. It's good for the bit.
We spoke that to
yeah, sure.
Oh,
great. But again, do you think it's important if we're talking about immigration for you to understand my perspective on immigration and for me to understand your perspective on immigration?
Do you think I feel like it's a good thing and a bad thing, immigration, man.
I'm not asking for your thoughts on immigration. We're checking if you know how to have a conversation. We're checking if you speak English. Don't you think if we're going to talk about immigration like something, for example, there's a lot of illegal immigration that happened during the second half of Biden's term. Too much, I would say. I think you would agree. Here, let's find some common ground. I think we agree. There's too much illegal immigration during the second half of Biden's term. Is that fair to say?
Que lo sepa. Ya tú sabes. Porque, oh, my bad. You don't speak Spanish? My fault. English is my second language, by the way.
Okay.
So I think I'm not doing that bad.
Well, I'm not
gonna. Are you making fun of my English?
I'm making fun of your. I'm making fun of your inability to stay on topic.
I'm bilingual, and
better than me. My German's not good enough for me to say that I'm bilingual. But so yeah, that's cool. It's neat that you speak another language. I think your English is perfectly fine now.
I learned English when I was like 10 years old.
I think you just need to answer my question though. Do you agree that there was too much illegal immigration during Biden's term? I do.
Oh,
yeah. I think there was
way too much.
I agree. Can we celebrate the fact that we agree on something? I think that there was too much illegal. Do you think that if we're going to discuss how politicians should address that fact, we should maybe consider why there was so much illegal immigration?
I mean, he was asleep, man. I already told you.
Well,
he was
hold
asleep.
on. Do you think
he was incompetent? He was incompetent.
Okay, so let's explore that idea. Do you think that if the president falls asleep a lot, that causes people to immigrate more? Because Trump falls asleep all the time. He's very sleepy as well.
He wasn't getting the job done. I don't think he took it serious, man.
Well, okay, right. So you're moving on to all these other things, but I'm just not understanding exactly how Biden's sleepiness caused illegal immigration, but Trump's didn't. So, because given that they're both very sleepy, will you admit that Trump's also very sleepy?
I mean,
He
when
fell
you
asleep.
work a
He fell
lot,
asleep at the Knicks game the
listen,
other night.
yeah. When you're working 20 hours out of the 24 hours, don't you get tired?
Well, you're coming up with excuses that make it okay for
He's
Trump
getting
to
a
be
lot done.
sleepy. Yeah,
He's getting a lot done,
Biden got a
bro.
lot done. Biden got more
No, he
bipartisan.
didn't.
He got more legislation passed
He
than
didn't.
Trump has. Yeah, he's more
Nah,
bills.
bro.
Okay, you can just say nah, bro, but they were both the president. They're both sleepy. Why is it that Biden's sleepiness causes
most-
immigration, but Trump's
listen,
doesn't?
The most Biden ever did was pardons, man. He gave out the most pardons. You know, his son got caught
Do
bringing
you think
in
that
rugs
Biden pardoned more people than
to the
Trump?
White House. Huh?
Do you think that Biden pardoned more people than Trump?
I mean, Trump pardoned a lot of black Americans. I know that. But who do you think brought in that bag?
You just
of
keep
powdery
asking me these other
substance?
questions, and like the chat really wants me to kick you, but I find you kind of fascinating because I just want to keep harping on the fact that the conversation doesn't accomplish anything if every time you feel like you don't want to answer one of my questions, you just bring up a completely new topic.
Who do you think brought in that bag of powdery substance into the White House?
Watch it with that stuff. TikTok TOS is really strict on it, so just let's like cool it with that. But again, it's another pivot away from these questions I'm asking. Do you think
So
that
who brought in that bag of rug?
Do you think that a person watching this conversation is going to think that you're making a good argument for any of the things that you're claiming? Because that's what this is about. There's
Yeah,
500. There's
a lot of them,
500
a lot
people
of them.
watching.
Look,
We're much closer to 500 people now. It's 480 people.
Thank
It's
you. I
400
got 4 follows because of you. Thank you.
Cool,
thank you.
cool. There's because maybe they want to go see you pop in other lives because they'll get the little ring on their friends thing if they
So why was that?
because they're
shoved
maybe
up in-
interested in watching you dodge questions. But
Do you
again,
think it's okay to bring in a bag of rugs into the White House?
we're not talking about rugs because TikTok TOS is
'Cause
is difficult on it, and it's another pivot. I asked another question. Do you think you're
They
making a
swept
good
that under
case,
the rug.
sir? Are you having a stroke? Like, what is happening? Everything you say is about a different topic. I'm just trying to have like a single line of conversation with you about something. Here. You know what? I'm going to give you a fresh, clean slate. Let's pretend the call is just starting. I'm going to forget everything I know about you. You're going to pick a new topic, and here's the challenge. I want you to stay on that topic and discuss it with me. Can we try that?
Yep.
Okay, so pick something.
If Trump was racist, why would he send National Guards to stop the crime rate in black communities?
Do those communities want the National Guard to be used for enforcement of their local crimes? Is that something those people wanted?
I mean, the Democrats where they're at aren't doing their job. They're not. Do you want crime? Is that what you want? Do you want black on black crime? Do you want
I
them
don't.
eliminating
Black
themselves?
on black crime is a real problem. I don't think that the National
Where at?
Guard in
What
a
states?
lot of cities in the United States.
Would you
Chicago's a
say
good
Illinois?
example.
Like Chicago?
Yeah. Chicago
And
has
is that a blue state?
That's yeah. Are
That's
they?
a blue state.
Well, yeah. They're it's a mostly
That's-
red state with a big blue city in it, much like the state that I live
It's
in.
a blue. No,
see
but
how you
it's-
see how you're moving very quickly onto all these different things. Like I'm actually just trying to answer your questions. You're kind of in charge here, which
No,
is
but
fine.
it's a blue state, man.
Okay.
But you see right there. So why? How come? In Chicago, you know, it's a blue state. How come they're not doing anything about it? It took Trump to send National Guard.
Did the National Guard fix the crime problem in Chicago?
Yeah, all the numbers drop. I mean, you got a computer right there. Why don't you go check? What you want them to just unalive themselves and for population control? Is that okay? And what about the fentanyl?
I'm not
What
following.
about the fentanyl?
Now,
that's
see,
population
I'm
control?
just trying to understand. You have data about the National Guard successfully stopping black on black crime? Like, what's.
Listen, when Biden was president, the price of rugs was so cheap, dirt cheap,
Okay, see how we're not staying on one thing? Like, you're
It
trying to
was
pick my
coming
brain on
in.
this.
left and right, bro.
What are we talking about? What is this?
So you feel like rugs should be cheap? Do you feel like it should just be all over America, rugs?
You started by saying crime
It
rates and
destroys people, right?
what are we talking about?
That's a domestic threat, letting rugs in.
The
That's
first
what illegal.
the topic you picked was is Trump racist?
Yeah.
Okay, so can we talk about that?
I already told you. So if he was, why would he send National Guard to black communities
because the
to stop
community,
crime.
I'll answer that, because the communities into which Donald Trump sent the National Guard did not want that to happen and felt terrorized by it. So that was a very bad thing to do to those communities.
So they want crime. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I said. What did I say?
That's exactly what it is. So obviously they want crime.
That's not what I said. What did I say?
You're saying that they feel like they're being, attacked by the National Guard, which they're not.
Okay,
They're trying to stop the crime, man.
What I said is that they felt terrorized, which is true. They did feel terrorized by it. They didn't like it.
Yeah.
The National Guard generally, as it happened, no, I want to address what you just said. It generally is the case that the National Guard generally don't misbehave that much. I don't think there's any evidence that a National Guardsman attacked anybody. I don't think that happened. That's not what they're saying happened. But people don't like the president sending guys in army outfits to go patrol their neighborhoods. They feel terrorized by it. The communities themselves didn't like it. I didn't like it when the National Guard was in my neighborhood. Though, like I said, I happen to know that they don't have the worst track record with engaging with the public, so it's like not that big a deal. But I don't like a show of force from the president. It's not how it's supposed to work. So the people who you're saying that was for didn't like it. Do you recognize that as a valuable piece of information?
Yeah, but how would you know if you're not in those communities? I can't see you in a black community. So how would you know?
I live in a neighborhood that has a pretty high percentage of black people in it, and it is a neighborhood that the president... Well, actually, no, it wasn't the president. It was Walz who sent the National Guard on that occasion, so I'm wrong.
So you're in Minnesota?
Yeah, I live in Minneapolis.
Yes, but you're not outside every day, so you wouldn't know. You stay in that room. I could tell you stay in that room.
I go outside every day.
To go get some food and come back. That's it.
You're just making
accusations. You're not out there chilling and hanging out with your friends, your black friends.
Why are you making accusations about how I spend my time?
Or your Somalian friends.
What? Why do you think you know how I spend my time?
Because I know for a fact you look like it. You're not outside. If you were outside a lot, you would have had a nice haircut. You're just.
I do need a haircut. I'm overdue on a haircut.
Yeah, I know, brother.
How you doing, Midwest?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
So, Luther, I took a break from mowing my lawn to ask you what influence the National Guard had in the city of Chicago and Illinois in general.
A big influence, a huge influence.
Where were they deployed?
All over.
Name a single neighborhood they were in.
63rd Street.
And what's on 63rd Street?
You know about 63rd, right? O Block. Sure.
Do you know why the National Guard was deployed to Chicago and what their assignment was and the only thing they were allowed to do before they got pulled out?
Yeah, they're sent over there because the Democrats weren't doing their job, man. They didn't want to see the crime.
Incorrect. They were not on any city streets. They were only at federal facilities.
Oh, yeah?
They didn't go on any city streets. They weren't patrolling like they are in D.C.
Do you have
Because he didn't have the authority. Yeah, because he didn't have the authority. There's court cases that were filed against them. And the only thing they were allowed to do was to protect federal facilities.
Do you have visual or video proof of them not patrolling?
No, so I don't work in what I call anecdotals. I actually go in facts and evidence. And there's data,
where's your evidence?
There's sources, and there's court cases for them. You can go ahead and look it up on your own.
No, I don't.
There are court cases that show that they were only allowed to be at federal facilities. So like the Bridgeview Detention Center, the federal courthouse downtown. There was only a couple of places they were allowed to go. They didn't go into O Block. They didn't go downtown. They didn't go in the Loop. They didn't go into the Gold Coast. They didn't go anywhere in the city except for federal facilities.
All right, so the Democrats stopped them from doing that, from stopping crime.
The courts did. Some of those judges were appointed by Republicans.
Oh, so they want to see black on black crime. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is that you are completely wrong. And you know that. And that's why you keep changing topic and trying to change it and switch to something else. Because every time you're caught, you're gish galloping. And we see that and we know that. And it makes you look foolish.
So is that what you want to see? Black on black crime?
No, I want to see people making decisions based on evidence.
How are we supposed to stop black on black crime?
How do we do that? There's no one answer. There's no single answer to it.
Yeah, we could have a nuanced discussion about that, but the problem is that I'm pretty convinced that you're not capable of having any kind of
So if
nuanced
it's
discussion
not
about
National Guard,
anything.
how? If it's not the
See
National
how
Guard,
I say
are
a
we gonna
thing and you
stop
don't
it?
answer to it at all. Like I let you pick a topic and we went with Trump being racist, and now we're just all over the place. And even within this topic of like race demographics and crime and enforcement in the National Guard, just no matter what me or Midwest say, the next words out of your mouth are unrelated to what we said. Maybe they're related to a neighboring topic. Like if we say something about the National Guard, you're going to say something about how we support crime suddenly, even though that's not. We're just trying to iron out about some of how this works, and you're just everything that we say, you're just saying something else to. This isn't a functional conversation.
It's not going everywhere. We're still on the blacks, black on black crime. How are we gonna stop black on black? How are we gonna stop the blacks from killing their own kind, and creating some type of
Let me ask you this.
population control?
Let me ask you a question. What do you think causes black on black crime?
Poverty.
I agree. I think that
You feel
poverty.
me?
Yeah. I think that black people in America have disproportionately live in neighborhoods that are impoverished. It's hard to escape living in poverty. If your parents lived in poverty, lived in a bad neighborhood, had low incomes, it's more likely for those things to be true of you. And because that's been so true of African Americans throughout history, because of the history of slavery and Jim Crow laws and segregation, all these things that made life difficult for black people is still making life difficult for black people, because we never moved all these people out of the neighborhoods they lived in. There's still this institutionalized problem of poverty for African Americans. And because crime generally is a bigger problem in impoverished neighborhoods than in other neighborhoods, yeah, there is more crime, both caused by and caused to black people who live in these communities. It's true of poor people generally. If you're a white person who lives in these neighborhoods, you're also more likely to participate in the crime as the perpetrator or the victim. So it's not a matter of what race you are. I'm sure you understand that. It doesn't sound to me like your position on black crime is a racist one. But we can talk about the things that cause those things and then talk about ways that we can come up with solutions for it. But you have to know what causes something in order to solve it, right? Don't you think that's meaningful?
Yeah. Getting rid of the automobile factories caused that, because Detroit, Chicago, they all had automobile factories. They shipped them to Mexico, China, Japan.
Chicago really didn't have automobile factories. That's not what
that's how the blacks back in the days. That's how the blacks had their jobs. That's what they did for jobs. You feel
Sure,
me?
but not in Chicago.
Yeah.
And so the Democrats got rid of all that. They shipped them out somewhere else, created poverty. So, you feel me?
Hey, Luther, can I ask you, what do you do for a living?
What I do for a living?
Yeah, what's your job?
I'm a day trader.
You're a day trader.
Yeah,
So
options.
I know-
I trade options.
I have a couple of stocks. I use public. I think I have like 4 stocks right now. That's about it.
Yeah, I'm
Do
an
you
option
think
trader.
I should come up with rules and debate on how stock trading should be done, and what should I be giving people stock advice?
No.
No. So if you don't even know the 3 branches of government, why should you be talking about politics?
Because it's just common sense, bro.
It's not common sense. It's actually
Anybody
really,
with common sense.
it's really difficult, and it's intricate, and there's so many rules and regulations of it that are important to understand, and you don't understand the basics. So I could tell someone to go buy this stock, it's going to go through the roof, and it fails miserably because I don't know what I'm doing. And that's what you're doing right now.
I mean, anything could fail. I'm not talking about stocks. You're talking about stocks. You feel me? Look at what Trump did.
Sure, I made
feel
an
me?
equivalency to
Anything that, you feel me?
the stock trading and understanding it, and you just seem it completely incapable of
It's manipulated.
processing the most basic information.
I don't know if you're here for it, Midwest. This is a person who doesn't understand the 3 branches of the government or what the president's job is, but he's got big feelings about the president doing a good or bad job.
Yeah, no, I heard it all.
And you don't even know the amendments.
There's how many amendments are there, Luther?
You don't even know the amendments, bro.
But how many are there, Luther? I mean, we want to turn this into Constitution trivia. I'm here for it.
There's 26. No, 27. There's 27.
There are 27.
Yeah,
And
I
you're
know,
going to bring
there's
up the
27.
second one, right?
Matter of fact, huh?
You're going to bring up the Second Amendment. That one's your favorite?
No. So what's the 27th amendment, since you want to say that? What's the 27th?
That's the one that says that the president can only run for 2 terms.
I'm a big fan of that one.
I'm a big fan of that one, too.
Although I do have a trade to make with the Republicans if they're up for it. I'm willing to
No,
repeal
that's
the 27th
not. That's not it.
Amendment. Hold
That's
on.
not
Wait,
it.
I want to hear
So I'm
Midwest's
No
willing-
trade.
law bearing the compensation
I'm
for
willing-
the services of the senators and representatives shall take effect until an election representatives shall have intervened. That's the
Okay,
27th.
Big win for Luther.
That-
First
that's
one
a
of the
wrong.
day.
That's a
So
wrong.
sure. So here's my trade. We're gonna get rid of.
Oh, did I get it wrong?
president-
Yeah, you did.
Oh, it's the 22nd. Oops.
Yeah.
Big
It's
win to
okay.
Luther.
It's
You
okay.
did it,
I don't
buddy.
judge you. I don't judge you.
So I want to get rid of the 22nd Amendment where a president can only serve 2 terms. For exchange, that we get rid of naturalized citizens so Zoran Mandami can run for president in 2028.
Disgusting.
It's a win for everybody. Everybody gets what they want. You can get all the Trump
Disgusting.
2028 merch you want.
Memdani?
The Trump stores that are around here that are going out of business would create so many jobs all over.
Memdani? Yeah, you talking about Memdani?
Yeah.
Islam?
Yep. Are we going to go down that road?
Did
now,
you
too?
forget about 9/11?
So we're going to go down that road too.
Did you forget about 9/11?
We're really
Ah,
going to go down
fuck.
this road.
Are we
Did you
doing
forget
that?
about the Did you forget about the Boston Marathon?
We're really going down this. Who causes more domestic terrorism?
Oh man, you talking about the?
All right. Hold on. I got to interrupt to thank Darius for the $5 on Venmo because I sense a topic change, and this is about the previous one. Darius says black on black crime isn't real; it's proximity crime. Their outrage is never actually for black people's benefit; it's just a plot device for their own narratives. Also, here's a link, and then he references a Teen Vogue article titled "Black on Black Crime Myth." So you guys can go check that out. I will say, just for everybody listening, I don't like the phrase either. It's a little bit like how I say illegal immigrants, even though a lot of people don't like that phrase. I do it for a functional thing in the conversation because, as you can see today, I'm having a hard time keeping the conversation functional. I recognize that it's not a good way it gets the wrong idea across to just call it that. I gave the explanation that shows that, yeah, it is proximity crime that has to do with these institutionalized problems about these people disproportionately living in impoverished neighborhoods. It is more complicated and nuanced than that. But when you're talking to somebody who's not capable of nuance, it's made difficult. Do we want to talk about terrorism? Is that where we're going next? Are we going to talk about Islam?
I mean, if Luther wants to go down that road, I think he should ask you why you have asthma.
We might be going there. So, Luther, you asked me earlier if I forgot about 9/11. Is that right?
Yeah, man.
So I grew up in New York, and I was in Manhattan on 9/11 when I was 6 years old, and my dad was at his desk in Tower 2 when the first plane hit Tower 1.
I hope he made it out, man. I hope he made it out.
He did. He watched a
Thank
lot
God.
of people. He
Thank
watched
God.
a lot of people die, and it really fucked him up. And he never
Yep.
never really worked again. And he became a pretty horrible, abusive alcoholic, and he drank himself to death.
It's
And
traumatizing, man.
And
Seeing something like that.
I have pretty horrible asthma because I lived like a couple blocks north of the evacuation line in Lower Manhattan, which was Canal Street. So because I've lived just above the evacuation line, my family didn't evacuate. So me and I've got a lot of siblings. I think we all have the crappy, like, it's like childhood asthma that just persists into adulthood, that where like something like 10 or 15% of children have that. And in Lower Manhattan, around about 9/11, it's more like 90%, and I'm one such person. So I carry a rescue inhaler because I'll die if I don't take a puff on it, a couple times a week when I need to. So that's my relationship with 9/11. I just happen not to be a bigot. I happen not to be a racist. So I have more nuanced opinions about handling terrorism than terrorists bad, let's be mean to people who have the same religion as them, or the same religion by title, because I would argue that the people who flew those planes into that building didn't have the same religion as Zoran Mandani, in the same way that it would be unfair to say that a regular Christian who just, wears the necklace and goes to church, it wouldn't be fair to say they have the same religion as somebody who is a subscriber of the Westboro Baptist Church, the God hates FAGS people. That's a different flavor of Christian, I think you'd recognize. And I think it's a very different flavor of Muslim that flew those planes into those buildings. And I'm willing to recognize that because I have a more comprehensive worldview of religion. So knowing those things about me, that's my answer to the question. No, I didn't forget 9/11.
Listen, Islam is Islam, man.
No,
They
I
all
don't think
believe
that's
in
fair
the
to
same
say.
thing.
No, I don't think that's fair to say at all. That's like saying Christian is Christian. Do you think that a white nationalist that burns crosses in the front yards of their African American neighbors is the same type of Christian as somebody who like vaguely believes in God, maybe goes to church for like weddings and funerals and stuff, but doesn't take it all that seriously? Do you think they're all the same?
I think they're all the same because they all have the same prophet, man. There's one prophet.
Yeah, well,
And that prophet was a pedophile.
well,
So if anybody with common sense would like if if
Okay.
your prophet was a pedophile,
why
your
is it that
president
you
was a
think? Why is it
pedophile,
that you think that all Muslims are the same, but not all but all Christians aren't?
because they're still following a pedophile.
So are you.
No, I'm not.
Trump-
MAGA.
Trump-
MAGA
There's no
is the
proof.
biggest.
In the Quran and the Hadith, it says that he consummated with a 9-year-old, bro. There's nowhere that says Trump did anything. So
Hey Luther, I got a quick
nice
question
try,
for you.
bro.
Do you
It's
know what
it's in their Quran. It's
do
written
you know
down in a
what
book.
jihad actually stands for? What it translates to?
Yeah,
What does it translate to?
Allah Akbar. You feel me? They say that, you know.
Yeah.
Allah
So does-
Akbar before they slice someone's throat.
Sure. So Luther, jihad actually translates to struggle for God, which is the same thing that Christians do. So when you're having a jihad, it just means you're struggling for your faith and to do the right thing. And same thing Christians do. When if you're fasting, if you're praying, if it's Good Friday and you're not eating and you don't eat meat, you do Lent, you do all the Catholic things. You're struggling for God. It's exactly the same. Oscar and I think, share the same kind of mentality that religion.
Listen, I'm not
in general,
starving for no one. I'm not going to starve for no one.
Sure. Well, then
I'm
then
not
you're
even
a
starving
Christian,
for
I guess.
God.
Sure, I guess you're not
I
Christian,
don't give
then
a
you're not
fuck what
following
it
the
is.
Bible.
I'm not starving for anyone.
But I think me and Oscar share kind of an opinion on religion that extremist religions on either side is bad. Religion in general,
if I
not
have to
great,
starve
but
for God,
it's
it's fuck
dealable.
God. You feel me?
Are you following? He's muted. Did somebody else mute him?
No, he's muting himself.
Oh.
He probably had to stop and do his DoorDash order.
Yeah. He sounded busy.
No, I'm feeding all my dogs. I have 16 dogs. I'm feeding them. I own a dog kennel.
Okay, that's fine. But again, I just the question that we're not getting a quick answer to here. Do you recognize that extremism is the problem, not necessarily religion? Please unmute yourself. I've given you most of a show so far. You've been on the phone for more than an hour, and I'm willing to do that, even with the chat demanding that I kick you, because I genuinely find you to be interesting, especially, and I haven't even brought this up yet because I usually do bring this up, because you self-identified as a Hispanic person and as a black person, and I think that you've demonstrated thoroughly that you're a fucking race traitor. I think most people who are your race would think that of you. I think most people who've heard what you said would say that, and I'm comfortable levying that accusation against you. I think you're doing a great deal of harm for a group that you're a member of, which makes you a fucking traitor to that group. I think it's fucking reprehensible the way that you look at all this stuff. I think it's fucking reprehensible the excuses you make for Trump's behavior. I think it's fucking reprehensible that you can't even take this conversation seriously enough to engage with it in a way that's meaningful and demonstrates that you're even listening. And I don't mind spending a day, because I do this every single day. I don't mind spending 2 whole hours giving you more chance than anybody on this platform will give you to demonstrate that you actually care and value about these things. And it upsets people when I use the phrase race traitor, because a lot of people think it's racist for me to even levy that. I already see it showing up in the chat, but I stand on it, man. Like, I'm trying to look out for people who are subject to policies that are bad if you're of a particular race, and you're defending those policies. It makes you a traitor to those people. The label that people use is race traitor, and if people want to argue about it in the comments, I so believe in what I'm saying, I'm just going to celebrate the engagement that is. Because, yeah, it is a little bit good for content to have somebody as reprehensible as you come up and try to defend themselves. But that's why I want you to unmute yourself and spend the next 45 minutes of the show trying to repair the reputation you've developed for yourself, given the way that you've spent the last 75 minutes of it. Do you care about this stuff at all? Do you have values? Do you have ethics? Do you have morals? Is this stuff actually important to you? Or are you just sitting there, like, enjoying yourself because you think this shit is funny? Unmute yourself and
I don't
answer.
think it's funny. I'm just relaxing. I'm chilling. I'm living life. All right, little man. Yeah, my dogs are starving, man. I gotta feed them, you know.
You shouldn't be
fact,
chilling
fact.
with what's going on. You should be worried.
Yeah, I have 200-pound dogs, and I'm just trying to feed them, man. That's important to me right now. You know, it's my kids. Isn't that important to feed your kids? Do you have any?
Noodle, come here. Come here, Noodle.
Let's get some W noodles in the chat.
Yeah, so dude, I get caring for your pets. You know, sometimes
What
my
kind of
dog's
dog is that?
she looks like a chocolate lab, but it turns out if you mix a 130-pound
She's
yellow
mixed.
lab with an Australian Shepherd, you get a Velociraptor that looks like a chocolate lab. So
Yeah,
like,
I see
yeah.
Australian Shepherd in it.
yeah. So I'm not gonna fault you for having dogs barking in the background or for needing to feed your dogs. Like, that's not the issue. The issue is that you've demonstrated wholly that you don't take this shit seriously, and you should. You don't understand. You're willing to call in and spend an hour of your day talking to somebody like me about politics, but you don't even care to learn the rules of the game. You don't even care about how the three branches of the government work. You don't care about what the president's job is. You don't care about data about criminality unless it supports what you want, which is for Trump to continue being president. And you said yourself that you're a day trader. The fact that you're a day trader suggests to me that your interest in Trump is completely success driven for yourself, because day trading under a president like Trump is way easier because he rigs the fucking market. I'm sure you're watching very closely what's happening in Iran every Friday and Monday when the market fucking swings on it. Today's a good day. Did you buy calls on SPY? Did you sell them this morning? Is that what happened?
It took me 8 minutes. It took me 8 minutes to make. I'm good for a month now.
Right, yeah, because you're a day trader. You're not an intraday trader. You're not an intraday trader. You're an intraday trader. So
I swing trade too here and there on certain things.
Yeah. So again, do you think that the fact that Trump is doing things disruptive enough in the market for a day trader like yourself to make money, do you think that's a good enough reason to support a president who's a danger to people who are of your own race?
I'm just taking advantage of my opportunities. That's it.
Yeah, you're taking advantage of those people I just said who are being harmed by this. The fact that you're willing to support this because it benefits you, because you found a grift that works on it, without helping those people. I found a grift that works, but I'm helping people. The more profitable grift would be that if I was on the other side, I could put my red hat on and pretend I fucking love all this shit, and I'd get a lot more donations, because assholes like Nick Sorter and Cam Higbee, who do this from the other side, get tons of donations under the guise of needing it for security from the violent left or whatever. It's a way more profitable grift to be on the other side. You've found that to be the case with the stock market, and it makes you a fucking traitor to your race, dude. You are betraying all the people, all the non-white people who are in danger because of Trump, to profit on the fucking stock market. Fuck you, dude. It's terrible. I'll take the harassment and bullying flag if I get it. I earned it as much as you did.
I'm not reporting nothing. If
Yeah,
you report it, that's your people watching.
No, TikTok has an automatic system for that.
I'm not no snitch. I don't give a fuck what you say, and I don't want to see your channel go down at all.
Well, I mean, it's just because I said fuck you. I was mean to you in a way that the automatic system.
I don't give a fuck what the fuck you say.
I don't think you give a fuck what I don't think you give. I don't think you give a fuck what anyone says is my problem. I think you only care about your bank account balance, and that makes you a bad
everyone
person.
Should live like that. I think it would be a peaceful world if everyone thought it was like that, man.
I think that if everybody thought like you, the world would be a seriously dark place. And if everybody thought like me, it'd be a little bit more delightful for everybody. Joey sent me $5 on YouTube Super Chat to say, I get that the show is entertainment as well as debate, but people who give you shit for platforming people like Collar miss the point of the show. Yeah, I do think there's value in putting a spotlight on somebody like Luther, who doesn't take this stuff seriously and is in it for personal gain, because that's a big part of the reason why Trump is in power. That's a big part of the reason why this whole situation is happening. It's because there's people like you who aren't going to care about all of this until an ICE agent puts his gun in your mouth. You gonna stay muted on that?
No one's putting a gun in my mouth.
Yet.
I'll tell you that.
Yep, right? A lot of people in the 40s in Germany, or a lot of people in the 30s in Germany said they weren't coming for me yet, right? Like, you get to sit there on the high horse of having been privileged by not being stopped by an ICE agent. You know they can stop you without warrant because of your skin color, right? Without probable cause other than your skin color?
It hasn't happened.
Yeah.
You know what? I haven't seen not one ICE agent at all. And I'm always outside.
Okay, so they haven't come to where you live yet. But do you think you would have been safe walking down the street in Minneapolis during Metro Surge?
Oh, yeah, of course. I would have cussed them out. The fuck? And then I have my I can always keep my documents on me anyways.
Carrying your papers.
Yeah, I got my license. I got both my gun permits. I got everything. on me. So
you think you should have to carry your papers to be safe?
I'm legal. I mean, you got a wallet, right? You're supposed to have your wallet, right? It's a normal thing to have a wallet, right?
You don't recognize this as a warning sign of things to come?
Nah, not at all. Not at all.
That doesn't surprise me at all from how he's unable to correlate anything.
Not at all.
Dude, do a better job muting yourself through all this noise. Come on. I'm kind of giving you the whole episode because I think you're a fascinating case study in exactly how reprehensible a human being can be in 2026 with a perspective on American politics like yours. So I'm like willing to just keep on it. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I feel like you need to answer for the fact that you care so much about your stock picking that you don't care about civil rights abuses. To get to that point, do you care that the Constitution isn't being followed by this administration? Is that important to you?
I mean, I don't think he broke any laws at all.
They've broken lots of laws. They violate the Constitution regularly. It's a big problem with ICE.
Sometimes when you got people stopping you from doing what you got to do to save America, you got to find loopholes, Just
so the end.
How would you agree? Are you mad that the Somalians made all that money and you didn't do it? Does that upset you?
See, this is the gish galloping where you just bring up something different every time I say things. I think fraud's bad. Anybody who committed fraud against a welfare system is bad and belongs to.
So is it true that there was fraud going on over there, right? It's not just false, fake news.
Yeah, there was a fraud. There was a fraud
Trump
scandal.
Right.
No, I don't think Trump is right in the way that he talked about it, or the way that he's handling it, or the people he's blaming for it. I think all that's wrong.
Trump was right.
You're asserting Trump was right, and what I just said is that the problem. Yeah, here we go. You're gonna start blaming Tim Walz.
He was running for vice president. So you should know, he was running for vice president, but he's letting all that fraud. So was the governor? Listen, dude. Listen. What if Kamala won?
Listen.
So much fraud.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Is the governor of New York responsible for the fraud that Donald Trump committed in the state of New York?
Which governor are you talking about?
I don't happen to remember who was governor of New York when Trump was committing his fraud against the charities he ran there. He's barred from running frauds in New York, or running charities in New York because he defrauded them. That was found in.
Are you talking about Giuliani? Are you talking about Giuliani?
Giuliani was mayor in the early 2000s, but you're talking about the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz. I'm saying whoever the governor of New York was 20 years ago when Trump was defrauding charities there, because Trump did also defraud charities in New York. That's a thing that he was found civilly liable for doing. He is currently barred from running charities in the state of New York for defrauding them. I'm saying, is the governor of that state responsible for that fraud that Donald Trump committed? Should the governor of that state worked harder to catch him? George Pataki, I'm going to trust the chat.
Maybe he didn't know about it.
Okay, maybe he didn't know about it, and that's what we can say about Tim Walz, because it's not really the governor's job to spend their day investigating random little concerns about fraud. But we glazed over the fact
Trump wasn't chilling with the governor back then.
It's Cuomo.
Tim Walz was chilling with all the Somalis, all the Somalians. Wasn't he with Ilhan Omar?
What we're missing here, I think what we're missing here is that you glossed over the fact that in my example, Trump himself is the fraudster. You do realize Trump himself is a fraudster if you're that concerned about fraud.
Well, people that get wealthy, they have to do dirt, right? All wealthy people did dirt.
What does that have to do with what I just said?
All wealthy people did dirt, bro. Obviously, you didn't do dirt because you're broke. So I commend you for that.
Oh, you're saying that he must have done something bad to become wealthy. Are you wealthy? You're a day trader. You must have some kind of capital. Do you consider yourself wealthy?
Yeah, I have a lot of assets.
Okay. What did you do that was so bad? What's the dirt on you that got you there?
None. I used my stimulus checks that I got from COVID. Unlike other people, they could have used their stimulus.
You gambled your stimulus checks on options, and it got you enough capital to become a day trader, and you think that makes you better than people?
I used YouTube University. Because you could learn anything on YouTube, bro.
Okay, so let's
This
get
is
back to the
2026.
question. Let's get back to the question. You do realize that there's fraud happening elsewhere in the country. Are you going after the governors of all the states that fraud occurs in?
Oh yeah,
Name one.
California. California got y'all beat by a mile.
Okay, Newsom. Who else?
I know there was some fraud going on in Maine.
Okay.
So
But
that's
a lot
blue
of
states right there. That's
Yeah.
three blue states.
Okay, but do you think that fraud is the responsibility of the governor? Do you think the governor should be investigating fraud?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Oh,
Hell
why
yeah.
is that?
Why not?
Because
Why not?
do they investigate murders?
I would hope so.
Do they enforce the speed limit?
Yeah. They
They-
have signs up everywhere
No,
you go, right?
no. I'm talking about
That's a
I'm talking about how they spend their time. Is it their job to specifically investigate fraud? I don't think it's the governor's job to pull somebody over for speeding. Is that accurate to say?
It should be their job, man. That's illegal. It should be their job.
They should go out on the highways and stop speeders, and if they fail to stop the speeders, they're doing a bad job as governor, and we should fire them.
We're talking about fraud. We're talking about fraud. You just went from fraud to speeders.
Well, I'm generalizing it to law enforcement
should be
because
the-
what I don't understand is why
That's
the right has
criminal.
been so thoroughly convinced that that it's the job of the governor to enforce fraud, and any fraud happening in a state means that the governor is complicit in it. There's a lot of crime that happens in lots of states. You're not correct about what you said. Watch the background noise. Please mute yourself, dude. There are lots of states, lots of red states where fraud happens. Lots of fraud happens in Texas. Lots of fraud happens in Florida. There are places where there are Republicans in control where fraud happens, and there's a lot of Republicans who are themselves fraudsters, including Donald Trump. Why is none of that important to you? I'll also take a moment while you think about it to thank Tabby for the $5 on YouTube Super Chat. He said, so better them than me? Yeah, Donald Trump loves people like you. You're the right camp caller. Good luck on that life motto. Yeah, you're drinking the Kool-Aid. You're drinking it's the other minorities he's going after, not me. Sackboss sent me another $5 to say day trading isn't a job. Good luck after Trump can't manipulate the market anymore. Yeah, I agree. If we get the financial market under control in this way in this country, I hope it's bad for your day trading. And Jared sent me $25 on Venmo. Thanks so much. He said, dude, I've been trying so hard to send a donation while talking about the evils on the right, but I keep getting censored. How can we call them out if we have to word it so carefully? That's a big topic, Jared. It's hard to talk about this stuff when we don't have free speech on the platforms. It's something I have to face up with and deal with all the time. So thanks, everybody, for the donations. What do you have to say for yourself, Luther? Trump is a fraudster. Trump pardons people who've been found guilty of fraud. That's something he does pretty frequently. He's disproportionately going after fraud in places where Democrats are in control. You realize that, right? You can unmute yourself. I don't know if you're talking. You got to remember if you're going to be so noisy while you're being on my show, but I kind of just want this to be the monolithic you episode. But I'll keep reading donations while I wait for you to come back. Movie Drone.
Yeah, I just followed you. Hey, I have to wash and disinfect my kennels, and I have a bunch of them.
Okay.
So I followed you, and I'll see you another day. I'm a little busy right now.
Okay. Goodbye.
Yeah, yeah. All right, have a nice day.
That was something.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody. I just, straightforwardly to my audience, I know that it's not going to be everybody's favorite episode when I just zoom in on a particular guy like that, but he was talkative, and he had big feelings, and he was a race trader, and that combination of things made me want to keep him on the show, because I do just want to keep picking the brain of such a person. The regular chuds, just the 56-year-old dude whose wife doesn't talk to him anymore, so he's lonely and calls up Oscar and says some misogynistic, racist shit and says, oh, I'm not a misogynist, I'm not racist, but, and then gives the same racist arguments again. Those are a dime a dozen. I talk to those people every day. I found that guy to be kind of novel, so I gave him most of the show. So sorry, everyone, but I don't regret it, and I will have him back, because I can get better at talking to these people. That's one of the things I'm doing is the whole time is I'll just I'm always trying to figure out what types of questions I can ask that they'll actually answer. And we got some answers about that. Some people are entertained by it, and that can be good enough, right? I probably got some good clips of that guy dodging the question. What do you think, Midwest?
No, I think it's good, and I don't think we're ever going to change Luther's mind. But
No.
I think there are people that are going to watch this and they see it and it might change their point of view and make them look into things more. And I think that's the best we can hope for. But he wasn't slurring. He wasn't being disrespectful. He wasn't crashing out, which on this app these days is very rare.
Yeah. I mean, and the chat's saying, like, we're not going to change his mind. Like, of course, most of my callers are not the sort that are going to have their mind changed. The regular racist chuds I talk to are not going to have their minds changed. But people are going to get equipped with tools for navigating those conversations. Or I think one thing that comes of benefit is, like, I have part of the way I run my show in particular is that I'm super hard line. Like, there were a couple moments in that 75-minute conversation where I really refused to move on for like 15 minutes at a time, just asking the same basic question over and over and over again. And I think it's valuable for people to see how bad it makes a person look. It's uncomfortable. Sometimes you have to do it in real life. You know, if you have a conversation with somebody in your life that doesn't agree with you about this stuff, they'll use the same tactics. They'll move past a question without answering it. And as uncomfortable as it is, for those of us brave enough, you're exercising some good civic duty if you just hold people's feet to the fire about these things. Ask a person the same question 20 times in a row. A lot of people, especially in person, will just realize that they look awful doing it. You can just politely say, hey, I'm sorry. Like, that's a bunch of interesting stuff that you just said. But this question I asked earlier didn't get answered. And you can just keep doing that. You can do that all day, and it'll keep them looking bad. People want to know, how did anybody vote against their race by voting for Trump? How did Trump get any of the black vote? They've been convinced of some nonsense. Some of them. I think that's the problem, right? The people who vote for him think they're voting for something that's good for themselves or for the country, and it's nonsense. They're wrong about that. So whenever I find somebody who doesn't fit the archetype, who isn't your average Trump voter, I'm really motivated to understand them as best as I can. And I don't think I got a very good understanding. That guy was a brick wall. We got a little bit out of him. We got some interesting moments. We got some interesting perspectives. We definitely got some interesting details. I think it's interesting that his adoration of Trump is clearly financially driven. But yeah, I'm gonna follow my own passions running the show at the end of the day, and I passionately wanted to know more about how that guy's brain worked, and I'm a little bummed we didn't get farther with him. But what can you do? I can try.
All right. I got to get back to mowing my lawn. You can kick me for that. I'll go.
Get after it. Thanks for hopping up, Midwest.
Thanks.
And I'll also thank Movie Drone Redux for £5 on YouTube Super Chat. Keep fighting the good fight, Oscar. Gives us hope in the UK. The US deserves better. I'm trying. Drive Me to Ferenz said, keep it up, my dude. Love seeing you grow. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the support. Mike Stevens sent me $2 on Venmo to say, I make money from the Trump's presidency, in quotes, explains why he supports him. Kind of, but it doesn't address the other costs for people. Voting is more than asking what benefits him personally. Why is it hard to consider other people? Well, that's always the double-edged sword of the selfish Trump voter, is that you can have a Trump voter who votes for Trump because they think it's good for them, and I think that that's selfish, and you shouldn't make political decisions about what's good for you. You should make decisions about what's good for everybody, and I have good arguments for that. That have to do, there's basically two arguments against that. There's the one where it's like, you shouldn't be selfish, you should just be nicer to other people, altruism, ethics, but also, even if you are selfish, you should still vote for policies that are better for everybody, because you don't know what type of person you're going to be. That guy was really proud of living in a place where ICE isn't assaulting him for being black. I think he'll be singing a different tone if the place that he lives becomes such a place. Anyway, let's see, where are we? 1:30. We could do another. Farah's a familiar, so I'm gonna see these two other callers. We're gonna see if they're opposition. Maybe we can get a different kind of debate going for the rest of the show. And it was good for viewership. Had us over 500 concurrent, but whatever.
Hello.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
19. Are you a Trump supporter?
I wouldn't say like I'm a MAGA or like full-fledged Trump supporter, but I do support some of his actions.
Well, do you want him to stay president, or do you think he should be disqualified for breaking the rules?
I think he should live out the rest of his term and then go somewhere else, man.
Well, I don't think it's good for us to let presidents finish their term when they are behaving as unconstitutionally as he is. I think it's a real big problem for the president to break the rules in that way. Are you educated about civics? The previous caller wasn't, so I'm just going to kind of start with that. Do you understand the three branches of the government?
Yeah.
What are they?
Isn't it legislative and all that?
That's one of them. Can you name the other two?
On top of my head right now.
Okay, so
Oh.
we've got the legislative and the executive and the judicial branches. Do you know which of those three branches the president works at?
Isn't it the executive, right?
It is. It is. Do you see potentially? Oh, you know what? I'm so terribly sorry. I'm getting a really important phone call. Goodbye, everybody. I will talk to you tomorrow. Sorry, everyone. Short show today.
Have a